This is News Now. I'm Joanna Juvelis, and joining me today is a Belmont resident, Brock Maniatis. Welcome, Brock.
All right, thank you so much, Joanna.
So, Brock is going to tell us about a very special nonprofit that he started. But before we get into that, Brock, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself?
My name is Brock Maniatis. I live in Belmont. I'm 17 years old. I go to Catholic school, Catholic Memorial in West Roxbury, and I play football there.
So, tell us about your nonprofit. It's called Project Socks.
Yes. So Project Socks is a obviously a sock-based nonprofit, and basically what we do is we take monetary donations and also actual sock donations, and I will deliver them to like community organizations, things like homeless shelters, places that serve the needy, like recovering addicts. I'll take the socks to those places.
How did you get the idea to start this nonprofit?
So last year, I was touring colleges. I was a sophomore. It was spring break, and we were down in the South. And in specific, it was North Carolina. And the little strip, the road where the college was on, I was walking with my mother, my best friend, and his mother. And there was just an abundance of homeless people, people that obviously were not well off. You could tell maybe they were addicted to drugs, didn't really have a place to go, so they were out living on the street. And I was like, wow, like there's really a big issue here. And so I'm required to do service at Catholic Memorial. It's only like 20 hours though. So I was like, if I'm gonna have to do service, I might as well try to make a larger difference than just the 20 hours. So when I got home from touring colleges, I called a bunch of community organizations like homeless shelters and things like I said earlier. I called around and I was like, what are your top three most needed items? And literally everyone said socks. So that is how I knew that I was going to do socks. And then after I'd called around and chose that, emailed, I Instagram DM'd, I called a bunch of places, and I was like, "Will you guys take sock donations from me?" And then, I mean, 99% of the people said yes if they had room to store the donations. So I would add them to the list of community partners.
And when did you officially launch your nonprofit and start all this?
So the 501(c)(3 that came in July, and then I started taking donations on September 7th, I think. September 7th.
Well, so it's still pretty new. Um,
Yes.
and do you know, have any idea how many socks you've collected and donated?
Yeah, so I've raised about $3,200, about 2,600 pairs, and then I've donated about 1,600 pairs.
So you were able to purchase 2,600 pairs with that money?
No, so people can donate two ways. They can either donate through a PayPal, which we have a little like bank account for that, or they can send socks. I have an Amazon wish list. They can send actual socks to the house. We store them in the house. But it's $3,200, and then also people have donated 2,600 pairs.
Oh, what do you plan to do with the funds you raised?
They all go to buying more socks. So if I find like a big sale on, let's say like Amazon, Walmart, Costco, or BJ's, where I can get a bunch of them in bulk, that's where that money goes.
Oh, that's great. And then how do you decide again, like where you're like, can you tell me about some of the shelters that you're donating, where they're located?
So Katie's Closet was the first one that I went to. I think it's in Dedham, and they do kids, obviously it's all kids, but what they do is they'll go into a school and they'll put a little like their own kind of room up, and they'll just put their clothes in it. And any of the kids at the school that their parents can't afford to give them like adequate clothing, they'll let them in. Everything is free for them. And then this other place, Friends of Boston Homeless, it's in South Boston. They have two shelters, the Woods Mullen and the Southampton. And I brought socks there. The Woods Mullen is only woman, and then the Southampton is only men. So I brought like half and half there. So I went to both shelters. And the VA in West Roxbury, which is also called Healthcare for Homeless Veterans, it's like a hospital, but they serve like a bunch of the veterans that can't, afford to keep themselves up and running after they've served or are just in the hospital at that time. I brought a bunch of pairs there. And yeah, so basically what I do to decide where I'm going to bring them is I will either email, call, or send an Instagram DM. to like one of the people that runs the either the shelter or the community center. I'll say like, hey, I have a bunch of socks. Will you guys willing to take the donations? Like, do you have people to give them to? Can you store them? And if they say yes, then I set up a time for the donation.
And do you have anybody helping you, or are you just a one-man show at Project Socks?
So it's really just a one-man show, but my mother does help me. Like when I make a delivery, my mother will come to get footage for my social media, and she does help me run the social media, but I do pretty much everything else.
Oh, that's great. And how do you feel about what you've accomplished since starting all this?
I I'm just so grateful for everyone that has like enabled me to do this because obviously like without the people donating none of it's possible and it's just I think it's great. It's taken off so quickly. Like I've raised the equivalent of almost like 6 grand already. So in what like September, October, November, December in like 5 months it's almost a grand a month. I'm very pleased with how it's going.
And what are your plans for the future with this
So,
project?
honestly, like I've been so focused on getting it up and running, and it's taken off so quick that I haven't really been thinking too far down the line. But it's definitely something that I want to continue doing, and I want to build a foundation that can make a sustainable impact.
That's really great. So how does someone donate either monetarily or socks?
So, my website is projectsocks.org. And on the website, there's a direct link to the Amazon wish list, or there's a direct link to the PayPal where you just have to put your credit card in and like type in how much you want to donate. Or the socks, if you buy them off the Amazon wish list, they will come straight to my house and I store them here.
So what's your final message to people watching this about Project Socks?
I would say the one thing is like anybody out there can make a difference. Not everyone has to start like a big nonprofit, but anyone that's able to can make a difference in somebody else's lives, no matter how small or how large the donation or help is. So it's just, I promise you, like if you're making a difference in someone else's life, it will make your life better. And that's the one thing I would say. Just go out there and make a difference, no matter how small or large.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us today, Brock.
Of course, thank you so much for having me on.
Well, I get low and I get hot, and if I can't get either, I really try. The wings of heaven on my shoes, I'm a dancing man, and I just can't lose.
You know it's alright, it's okay. I live to see another